So I don't broadcast this a lot just because it doesn't tend to come up a lot, not necessarily because I'm embarrassed about it. But hello, YouTube. You're getting it today. I went on my first date ever in my whole life when I was 29 years old. My journey of singleness has been a journey of surrendering my dreams and my goals and my hopes and wishes and expectations for what my life is going to look like. A journey of self-discovery, self-identity, self-worth, all those things that we tend to talk about a lot. It's been a really challenging journey at times. There's been a lot of ugly feelings that have come up and a lot of things that I didn't realize about myself. I'd always considered myself a really confident person who knew who I was, didn't really care what other people thought, didn't think that I put my value and worth in what other people thought about me, especially what guys thought about me. But then you're single for a good portion of your adult life and things come up. Things that you didn't even realize were sitting in there, things that you just start to question. I can get in my own head a lot. When a thought gets in there, I can get stuck on it and it can spiral me into this just hot mess of anxiety and self-doubt and self-criticism. And so in this process over the last 10 years, I'm almost 31, and I'm still single. And I very much did not expect to be at this point in my life. And at the same time, I'm exactly where I know I'm supposed to be, with an incredible amount of peace and joy and contentment about it. And I feel lucky in a certain sense that my journey of singleness started in a conversation with God on I-5, driving from Southern California to Northern California, which is where a lot of conversations with God seem to take place on the road. Maybe it's because I'm focused and not distracted and he can actually talk and I'll actually listen. Anyway, it started there when I was 21 years old with a simple phrase that God said to me, "I'm calling you to singleness." Now, let me just say, for the record, that at 21 years old, fresh out of college, ready to take on the world, hearing that was not what I wanted to hear. Cue the waterworks, right? I am just like sobbing because I never planned on being single. I grew up in the passport to purity, courtship, by kiss, dating, goodbye generation. And I have things to say on that, both some positives and some negatives, but we'll save that for another video. But I had done all the right things. I was a good Christian girl who deserved a good Christian boy. Right? Because that's the way life works. It rocked my world. Because the thought of singleness, like as a actual intentional season, never crossed my mind. I didn't necessarily see it as a thing, right? Yes, it's a relationship status that you check on a box, but to say singleness is good and is purposed and is intentioned is very different, is a different way of approaching a season of life. Now, I will state for the record that neither then nor now nor anything in between has God ever given me a specific timeline on what that looks like. Though it has caused some challenges because I'm a planner and I want to know, like, okay, am I gonna just be single for forever? Like, is that the mindset that I need to get on? Or is it just now? But in a sense, I feel lucky that I had that conversation with God, because what it allowed me to do is sit in that season. Anytime I started to doubt my own worthiness, my own value, my own, like, come on, aren't I good enough? Like, aren't I pretty enough? Doesn't somebody want me? What I had to do was go back to that word. This is your season. That was something that I could ground myself in when I started to spiral, when I started to really just have a lot of insecurities. Wow. This time, though I have something that I can ground on, I'm still human. And so I sometimes think that I know better about my own life than God. And there have been times where I've thought, okay, well, he hasn't exactly said this is forever. So maybe I should try to put myself out there. It has not been something that God has said yes, here is the door I would like you to walk through. It has usually been in a moment of insecurity or in a moment of feeling in limbo and not feeling in control and wanting something to grasp onto to say I can make progress in my life, that I have explored this realm of online dating. And what I appreciate so much about God is just his sense of humor. Maybe he's just like this with me because I like to laugh a lot, but every one of my times that I have gone out and tried to do something turned out so horrible. Laughably horrible. I just feel like God is saying, girl, come on. I didn't tell you to do that. What are you doing? I'm going to make it so incredibly obvious to you that is not what you were supposed to be doing, that you won't even have an option but to kind of get back on track with my plan. Let go of your own. Things will happen. Get back on my plan. So again, not opposed to it. If God opens that door, I'm happy to walk through it. There are real struggles when you're walking singleness. There are so many pages in my journal where I am just crying out to God because I desperately want something that I don't have. I want to say that I have been able to be at peace and content and joyful and surrendered and all these ups and downs where I'm laughing with God. There have also been a lot of really hard and dark times. And I think it's important to be honest about that, because while I can stand here at 30, almost 31, and say that I'm single and I'm happy, and that's not to say that I don't want marriage and hope for marriage and I'm praying for marriage, at some point, I have created an incredible community and adopted myself into other people's families, which again I will talk about. Singleness can be really lonely. I come home after a day of work to my house, and it's quiet, and it's just me. And sometimes I really like that, and other times it's really hard. There are seasons that I go through where I have really big life decisions to make, and I would love to be able to process that with somebody who knows me, who walks this life with me. An event and people are saying, invite your plus ones, or we'd love to meet your significant others, and you don't have a significant other. That can be really awkward. Having sexual integrity as a single person, especially in today's day and age, is hard. I'm just gonna be honest. It's hard. There are lots of things about being single, walking singleness out well, that are hard. And so while there is beauty in the season, for however long the season is, it is not always easy. Being single also is such a gift. There are some practical things that having time and energy and space in my life allows me to do, but it's also been such a gift in my relationship with God. I've learned how to rely on Him to be my everything, to be my provider, to be my protector, to be the person who speaks into my life the most, to be the person who reminds me of my value and my worth. also allowed me to really dig in and get some of the ick out of my life. I am not perfect. I am very much still a work in progress. Because when you're on this side of doing a lot of work on yourself, I joke with people all the time, like, I do want to be married. I want a husband. But whoever he is, and if you are out there and you are watching this, let me just tell you, you better be doing the work on yourself too. I've told God, yes, I'd like to be married. And I think it's okay to tell God what you would like, right? It's not about clinging to that and making that your God or your idol. It's okay to talk to God about what you would like that to look like. And I've come to this point now where I want to be married when being married will allow me to do the kingdom work better, more efficiently, more effectively, or in a different way than I can do as a single person. Because there's a lot of kingdom work, missional work, life that I get to live as a single person that would look vastly different if I was married or had a family. And I think there are things that God wants to do in me and through me that I can only do while I am single. And so again, that might mean that I'm single for a long time. And I'm okay with that. Because ultimately, doing the thing that God has put you on this earth to do brings you ultimate fulfillment, ultimate purpose and passion and excitement and joy. And so I want that in my life. I want that in my life so much more than I want a husband. It's not to say I don't want a husband. Be an authentic person and be able to share your story authentically, right? That's why I get to stand here and say, like, I'm proud of being single. I'm proud of owning my journey because I've put in a lot of work to be able to stand here and be okay. Next week, we are going to be talking about specific strategies of how to do singleness well. So come back for that.